Good day, Devo. Today is our final quest in the heroine's journey. This is the fourth quarter of the lunar cycle, or the waning crescent moon phase. And in this fourth quest, what the heroine is going to do now is she's going to return with the elixir. So basically, in this 7 days, you're finding the ultimate lesson, like the gold, right? If you're turning an alchemy lead to gold. And this fourth quest, this is where you're wrapping up this entire cycle. So like this is like the biggest lesson that you've taken from these 4 weeks. That's going to be the elixir that you return with at the end of this cycle. And there's, on different note pages you have, this is a custom one that I do, but you probably have something that is like a lesson to carry forward into the next lunar cycle. So today is day 1. This is the purpose. So we're going to define a purpose, not just for today, but for this entire 7-day cycle. And ultimately, that's the same message that you have right here. This is where we're integrating everything from this cycle, and that's how we're going to focus on it here. So when I got started today, it's a little bit later in the morning time, right? Not morning my day. I'm celebrating my new day, but it was a little bit of heavy activity kind of like in my outer neighborhood. So it threw me a little bit off, and I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't feeling very inspired as to what my message was. But when you shared what yours was, it gave me the idea that a few of the things that I was playing with, that ultimately things are out of my hands. Like you take an action and then it's in motion, and then you no longer have control over it. And so the word manifest came up, because mani is hand and fest in this sense is like to bring that together, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore the etymology a little bit. I do this all the time with this word, but I'm going to write manifest as my purpose for this week. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my integrate sphere of my lunar cycle, and then really look for that lesson, that elixir that I'm going to return home with at the end of this 7 days. And for me, because I'm doing this heroine's journey, I'm going to come up with a goal that goes along with that manifest. And so I already know what it is, because it has to do with drawing, right? This is kind of the idea of manifesting, that you're putting something, making it clearly revealed to the eye, like you're making it tangible. And so what I want to make tangible is my draw and tell cards that I created, that draw and tell mind map, and now I have the flashcards. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and at the end of the week, here, I'll just go ahead and write it. I'm going to offer the draw and tell cards by my hands, I drew the draw and tell mind map. I drew each one of these symbols so that it could be a symbol on the flashcard. I will hand print the flashcards on a very high quality hemp heritage cardstock paper, and then I will manually take them to the post office with these hands and mail them to anybody that purchases them. I don't know if I'll always be making them and selling them to people, but I at least want to do it at this point, because that's making something manifest, right? So my whole point is to draw. I drew the art, and now I need to tell, I need to share it. And so in that regard, I'm going to make it manifest. I'm going to make it visible, like tangible in the outer reality. So I don't know. I feel like I'm going a little bit on a tangent. Let's just go ahead and pull an oracle card as I write. Ooh, I got too many things going on now. I'm going to go ahead and write manifest here. And then I'll pull a card. See, I told you I was feeling kind of off from this experience in my outer world. And it feels like I'm not quite as in the flow as what I normally am. So there's mani. And of course, I love breaking the words up, right? Manifest. So it's really about the hands that, okay, again, I keep wanting to tell you the etymology. So let's just play along. Why am I rushing? So I was feeling rushed, that I need to hurry up and make this video and get it out there for you. But you've already come up with your sphere today. So this is more so about showing the process and where we are at in the cycle. So from the 14th century, we have And I use etymology online, or edyonline.com. That's where I like to use to research the words. Clearly revealed to the eye. So we have this idea that to manifest something is to clearly reveal it into the manifest world, into the physical world, to make it evident. That would be another, evident is another word that they're using to describe manifest. Clear, apparent. And mani is hand. So like I'm physically making these things tangible by my hand. Oh, that card is showing, but that's not the card we're looking for, because I'm going to randomly choose one. And so I have my computer up here that I'm looking at the etymology and just kind of taking some notes. This is usually how I do my graphic note pages. If there's something that I'm researching, I'll write the word really big if it's the like title, subtitle, something that I need to stand out. And then I write smaller and smaller depending on the importance of that detail, if I want to like kind of like look into it further. So manifest. What is some inspiration about manifesting? Actually, let's look at, for manifest, let's look at it as a verb, right? We have to spread. So like I feel in manifesting, right? This is kind of the word manifest, that your manifestation, you're manifesting. These are kind of the ideas of how that word relates to doing something intentional with focused attention. Then if we look at it as a noun, we're looking at maybe more so the 1700s. This is a ship's manifest. And this is another idea of like how I play into the word, a ship's cargo. Those are tangible, manifest, physical items on a ship. They have a list of it. So the reason I call our kind of like our to-do page, the things that you're creating, that's a manifest, because that's kind of like your ship's manifest. That's your life's manifest, whether it's that week or that month or that year. It's the things that you want to manifest, as in the action of it, but it's also the noun of it being a certified list of the things that you want to manifest. So it's all just play on words, and that's for symbolic reasons. And then there's manifesto and all of this stuff. We're going to leave that alone. Okay, so some inspiration for this process of manifesting that we do when we're riding along to the lunar cycle or the solar cycle or the earth cycle, when we're doing one of these mind maps. We're using our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Your hands are part of your emotions. Those are energetically connected to your heart, energetically connected to your gut and your mind. So like this is a whole body instrument, and these hands are an extension of how it brings it manifest into your physical world. You know, like this is why a cat can't build a house, because they don't have thumbs, right? They don't have, okay, maybe there's a lot of reasons why a cat can't build a house, but the point being is that these hands are capable of doing so many things. I want to make sure that they're doing things that are in my favor, in the favor of people that I work with, that, you know, are in my proximity, in my experience. The inspiration I'm asking for the cards, and this could be for anybody that's looking to like get a message out or to share their creative endeavors or their passion. How can I make it clear? How can I make my art clear, my philosophy clear? How can I bring clarity to what I'm manifesting? Flow. Flow. So let's see what flow has. It's a 28. I love that because the lunar cycle that we work with is a 28-day cycle, give or take a few days, extra days. So get lost in the magic. Ooh, baby, look at that. Get lost in the magic. Actually, let me put my bookmark so I can find this page again. So you can buy these discs on Amazon. If anybody else that likes them, because I like how you can just take the pages out and move things around. And then there's dividers and things like that too. Okay, so magic. Boom, right there. It was what I was focusing on last week. Get lost in the magic. So the inspiration to manifest has something to do with getting lost. Making the art clear is to just get lost in the magic. I imagine that Soul cartoon where it's about jazz and they're jazzing. They're just getting lost in that field of magic. Magic is not just reserved for the high-level mystics. It is accessible to all of us while in a state of flow. We get a taste of this mundane transcendence when we are fully tapped into the present moment. For some, this may occur when creating, playing a sport, singing or dancing, or experiencing connection with nature or another person. What is your state of flow? So I think that's what this morning was. I didn't really feel like I was in a state of flow because of the dissonance in my outside of my house. And so then I was finding it difficult to get in the state of flow myself this morning. This transcendent state of being is the place where your stresses and fears melt away, leaving space for profound tapped-in connection. So then think for yourself, like, what are the things that take you out of that state? And I'm sure we're supposed to be out of it. We can't maybe necessarily be in that bliss state all the time. There's laundry that needs to be done, although I would argue that could be a blissful in the flow state. I guess what I'm saying is to recognize like when you're coming in and out of these states, and if that's something that you are wanting to continue, like allowing the block because it's actually helping you achieve something else, or if it's a hindrance and it's blocking the flow and it's not healthy. This was what my experience was this morning. So a playground for your spirit. Ooh, a playground for your spirit. I feel like that goes along with your free spirit. When in your state of flow, you are the most connected to your intuitive senses and least likely to feel the crushing weight of reality and mundane limitations. So this morning I was feeling the crushing weight of reality, I'm over-exaggerating that, and the mundane limitations. Upon seeing this card, your assignment is simply to sink into this flow state and all the magic that doing so has to offer. So that feels like that goes along with manifesting, that in order to manifest, there's a necessity of being in that flow state. Sometimes you get put out of it because there's a block that's trying to give you information that you need to know if you're going to go underground, above ground, above, below, through, whatever. And then you get back into the flow state. So I feel like life is just kind of like a constant series of being in the flow, hitting a block like water, then finding the way to go around it. And I think that's like, if we look at the manifest as like a ship's manifest, the idea of water and flow kind of energetically or symbolically fits with that theme as well. Okay, so flow. I'm gonna just make an extra note here that manifest has something to do with flow. I'll put just a little note, flow. So I can remember that to manifest, I'm really looking to kind of like surf the waves. This goes back to, I feel like last week's page, I think it was the observed sphere where they were talking about Wu Wei. And that's the flow, right? That you're just kind of like in that energetic current of the life cycle. And so what I do is I intentionally work with that life cycle in order to manifest, in order to make things tangible, physical, real in my world. And that's all done by these hands. So I hope that inspired you. I hope that you find your elixir this week, that you get to return home with it. If you have any questions, obviously reach out. And I feel like there's some magic still, on the horizon of this week. So while I didn't feel inspired this morning, I absolutely feel inspired now. So I'll see you in the next one.